Hi everyone. So this is the fourth time I have tried to film this intro. The first time was a few weeks after I made this project back in November 2024. And then tried again beginning of the new year. And then again in February. And here we are in the middle of August. So anyway, back in October of 2024, Aiko could not decide exactly what they wanted to do when it came to Halloween. They waited to the last minute. By then, we couldn't get something online to arrive on time. They did have something that they wanted to do, Mimikyu. And I'm going to put the link down below so you can at least see what it looked like. I cannot speak for the site. Online shopping is a little scary for me. You never know what quality you're going to get or if you're going to get it at all nowadays. But it didn't really matter because we didn't even have time to try. So what do you do when you can't get something delivered on time for an event? You make it yourself for 4 times as much as it would cost if it was mass produced. So that's what we did. Since I was making it, we were able to make some changes, kind of to make it our own, and it turned out okay. It was quite a challenge for me when it comes to making things. I love to take my time, and I am very, very slow. And especially when it comes to clothes, I like to make a mock-up first. Did not have time to do that. I think I finished this project in about 4 days, I want to say. Not a lot of time for me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can make it a lot quicker, but I tend to overthink. But it is what it is. With work, if there's a deadline, I can deal with that. But when it's for myself, I tend to drag my feet a little bit. So this was a little stressful for me. There were a few moments I had. A lot of me telling myself it's fine. 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 Didn't really believe it, but it's fine. Also, last year I tried a little something different with filming it. Usually I have everything planned out, each step that I'm making, but due to the time crunch and I just wanted to try something different. It turned out a little vloggy, not gonna lie. I have mixed feelings about it. It was easier to film, not so easy to edit. I did put a timeline on the video, so if you just want to skip to certain parts, feel free to do so. I do recommend at least looking at how I constructed the skirt. I think it turned out really cute, and how I did it was incredibly simple. But if you just want to skip to the reveal, go right ahead. I'm not going to be insulted. Originally, this video was about 41 minutes long. Hopefully, from now until I launch it, it's a lot shorter. I'm hoping to get it down to 20 minutes. Who knows? But with that said, there's a lot of talking in this video, so I'm just going to hush up and get to it. I hope you enjoy. Cutting the piece of fabric into a square, I then folded it into halves, then quarters, then eighths. Taking the tape measure, I marked out the same distance across the fabric. This will give me a curved hem. Okay, there's a little selvage left on the corners, but that's okay because we're going to do the jagged hem. And I really hope I did this right. Yeah. It's a circle. Yay! I have a circle. Of course, now I have to do it again for the neck hole, but I'm gonna go get some pumpkins. Be right back. So we got our pumpkins, but we got distracted. We're getting a pop-up coffee, and my honey's buying. Yay!
Happening inside.
Coffee. Well, William thinks that the crowd over there is what'd you call it?
It's like at a nightclub where they have people outside in line, and so it draws in other people because they think, oh, it's really crowded, it's really happening.
But then they'd have to we just saw the paramedics go through too, though. They're hired as well. Coffee. Wow. Okay, I'm back. I am hot. You can tell I'm getting even more and more pink as the moments go by, and but it's okay. You know, it's what it is when you live in Southern California, and Southern California is known for not liking to turn into fall. So it's 92 degrees outside and probably 100 or so degrees in here, and I am sweltering, but it's okay because I got my coffee. I'm already feeling the buzz. They were not kidding when the cold brew, they said it was strong. But look, I got my pumpkin. It's so beautiful. Let me turn around. Look at the spots. Oh, I just saw them and I saw the green spots and had to get it. Just recently, a YouTuber that I watch, I can't remember their name. I am so sorry. I am putting it right here. And they just did a fairy house pumpkin carving. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. It turned out really, really cute. And yeah, I figured that's... But enough distractions because we were running out of time, and that took about an hour. And yeah, I'm feeling good. Got the coffee in me, got my pumpkin buddy, and let's do this. Folding the circle into half, then quarter, I measured my head, divided it into 4 to get the circumference. Now I know that there's a calculator online that will do this for you, but I've been doing this method for about 30 years and I'm just not going to change my way. Okay, I just put the poncho on Aiko. The neck hole is actually pretty decent, so not going to touch that. I discussed with them what they want to do with the hem. This was originally how the hem looks on the poncho we wanted to purchase. We talked about if they wanted a little more jagged edge. They said this one's too much. So they kind of want something in between from this and this. And we came up with this. So it's jaggedy, but a little more rounded, softer look. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I do not cut too far in from the hem, and just kind of round it out. So maybe go to about here and make them wider. So again, we're gonna start off small, and I'm just gonna make my cuts, and then if Aiko wants them a little more defined, then that's what we'll do. All right, I'm back. Aiko liked the cuts. Everything is great. They were thinking of maybe having it lined in black fabric. I do have black fabric, but I was gonna use it for the skirt under thing. So I would probably have to go back to the fabric store. I really don't want to do that. That would cut into more of my time in finishing this by tomorrow, but we'll see. So I might just get a thin cotton and line it so it won't be too stiff. In the meantime, they like it, so that's half the battle. I'm feeling a little more confident in rushing through this because they were pretty happy with it so far. They did make a comment that I'm extremely red, and yeah, I guess I am. But again, so it's probably a good 100 degrees in here. So onto the hood. I talked to them on what they want. They want something like this. This is like their face right here. So they want it overhanging a couple of inches to hide their profile, and then they want kind of like it drooping down. So very full hood, and so they can be, as I said, mysterious. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the hood 3 pieces. So you're gonna have 2 side pieces and 1 centerpiece. And when the centerpiece, this is the center back neck. And from here to where the opening is going to be 25 inches. And I was thinking of bringing out the piece right around here so there's no seams in the face area. And then this is normally how you would do a 2-piece hood. This is the shoulder and the back neck right here. But what I'm going to do is, since this gets wider right here, I'm gonna cut in to the pattern right around here. So you won't have like a rippling effect in the front area. And so let's get started. To cut out the hood, I just cut one side of it and then folded it over for the other side. Okay, sun is going down, I'm losing light, it's still excruciatingly hot in here, and now the mosquitoes are coming out and starting to nip at my ankles. So I think we're done with the studio for today. I don't have electricity, so I can't close the doors. And I finished the cutting out the face. I'm going to show that to you in a second. I am not going to talk indoors while I'm sewing it together because the family is doing stuff and they're very loud and excitable right now. So I'm going to have to make up a lot of work tomorrow. I was hoping to at least cut out the base of the skirt thing, the undergarment, but that's just not going to happen today. And I don't cut on the floor anymore. I am far too old for that, and I need my cutting table. So we're just gonna have to try and get as much done of the poncho and the hood as we can today, and hope for the best that I can finish this tomorrow. Okay, here is the hood. I guess I wasn't recording in the studio. Doesn't matter, it's dark in there now, and these are the cutouts. So I cut these out in pieces of paper to kind of play with the size, figure out what I was gonna do. These aren't the ending positions of them, I just threw them on to show you. It's the same fleece fabric as the base. These are charcoal gray, these are orange. We figured due to the pale color of the base, these looked best with it. Originally, I was just gonna have the edge as the seam with the lining, but I don't know, I just don't think I'm gonna be happy with that. So I'm gonna fold it over an inch and cut the lining an inch shorter so it folds over. So you have this nice rounded edge to the hood. What I'm going to do with the fleece applique, I want it to look like it's drawn on squiggles. So I'm gonna try and give it that illusion. I cut out the holes in it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a straight stitch and just keep on swirling around to give it line texture, and do the same thing with the cheeks and the mouth. So hopefully that'll add a little interest instead of just having flat pieces glued or sewn on. All of the appliques were sewn on with a straight stitch. I started with the outer edge and circled inward, rotating the fabric as I went. Okay, so next day, I got a little late of a start, a lot later than I intended. I wanted to get it at the crack of dawn and start working as soon as there was light in the studio, but that did not happen, and it's already starting to heat up in here. I'm wearing my Hocus Pocus shirt today because it's gonna be another glorious morning and it makes me sick. So, yeah. But I got my coffee and I'm ready to go. Now, I managed to get the applique done with the hood. You'll see that later and more in detail for the reveal. I still have to do the ears. I talked to Aiko. They would prefer if the ears were a little posable, so I'm gonna put a little wire in there. They can bend it if they want. I kind of have an idea with the base on how it's gonna sit on the head. And we ended up going to the fabric store early this morning to get lining fabric. I really wanted to wait until after Halloween, but it's always more difficult to backtrack on something than it is to make it the way you want it right from the beginning. So adds more work, of course, but I think in the long run I'll be happier with it, and then I don't have to go back and redo work that I've already done. So yeah, we got a black fabric, but it has like a slight design on it. Very, very, very subtle, but it's not a solid color, which I think it will look better. It's in the wash right now, pre-washing it, and because I don't want it shrinking on the self fabric after we do wash it. And so while that is drying, I'm going to work on the skirt. We're gonna make this super, super simple. It's just gonna be straight lines with a jagged edge and then a elastic waistband. So I'm gonna show that to you right now and how I'm gonna do that. We gotta pick up speed. So enough jabbering, let's get to work. Okay, so here's the fabric that I'm going to be using. It's just plain weave cotton. Now we're gonna make it 17 inches long finished, and then this is the elastic. I'm using a wide elastic, so it's pretty structural for the waistband. So 17 inches finished, and then I'm just gonna put the elastic in there, give it a little ease, okay? Because it's gonna be gathered, it's gonna need a little ease in there. And then I'm gonna wrap this around, and I'm gonna go down about half an inch for the seam. Okay, so it's gonna be 19 3/4 length. Actually, I might just make that an even 20, make it easier on us. And it's just gonna be slightly longer. It's fine. It's fine. This is on the fold already. So I think what I'm gonna do is just make a channel. I'm just gonna sew where the waistband's gonna be, just sew it, and then I'll just gather it from there, and that'll save me a spot. So let's rethink this. Once the length of the fabric was cut, I folded it a bunch of times to cut out the longest part of the zigzag hem. I then unfolded it and cut the top layer for the shorter edge. All right, so here's a close-up of the skirt. You can see this is the bottom level, this is the top level. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do a very loose zigzag stitch on the edge so it doesn't fray. I don't have a problem with fraying, it's just the longevity of it. If Aiko wants to wear this more than once, they can. But it's gonna give kind of like a bumpy, rough texture to the hem, and I'll show you how I do that. For the zigzag stitch, I added the length and the width on the machine. The width was the highest my machine would go, and what this does, especially for a thin fabric on the edge, it'll actually roll the fabric under and give you that bumpy texture. After the hem was done, I sewed up the side seam, then folded the fabric back up, back to its original position when I cut it, and sandwiched the Velcro in between the two pieces of fabric. Okay, here's the skirt. It looks actually really cute. You can see the 2 layers there. And this is what the loose zigzag stitch did to it. And you can see the 2 layers there. Aiko gave me their approval, so we're good to go. Now on to the ears. The ears were a very simple, long rectangle with a rounded top. What I think I'm gonna do the same thing as I did with the hood, the eyes and mouth, and I'm gonna make some lines maybe going down this way so it kind of gives a little texture. Okay, you can see by my disgruntled face that things are not going well. I was really starting to think at the middle of the day that I was gonna get this thing done today. I'm not too sure now because the sun is starting to go down and I still have to put the lining in. I still have to make the structure for the ears, the wire and the base of it. And I completely forgot until about 5 minutes ago that Mimikyu has a tail. So now I have to figure out how I'm gonna make the tail. I got the fabric, which is good. At least that's going for me, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it done today. See, this is why I don't do a lot of videos. I'm very slow in making things, and no matter how hard I try to speed it up, it just does not, because I overthink and yeah, but we're gonna move on. This video is really sounding like a vlog. I'm so sorry, but anyway, we're gonna keep on going. I'm gonna do the lining right now. The fabric is dry and I sewed the 2 pieces together that I'm gonna need, and I'll just show you right now. Stop talking, Nikki. Okay, here's the fabric that I got for the lining. It's a lot darker than it's showing on video. You can see I'm completely blown out. Yes, I know it's an atrocity. I did not iron it. I ironed the seam at least. Again, it I just don't have time. To cut out the lining, I placed the good side of the fabric of the poncho against the good side of the lining. I then pinned the fleece to the lining and then cut it out. By pinning the 2 pieces together, it was ready to sew right away. All right, so day 3 of making this, and William was kind enough to take my shift at work today, but I ended up wasting the whole morning. So yeah, it's October 29th, 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm just now starting to work on it again. I don't know, I just was not feeling it this morning, but I really need to get it done. Fortunately, it is a lot cooler today. Definitely a Southern California fall day. It's 68 degrees, I believe, Fahrenheit. Actually quite nice in here. Yeah, so let's get to it. I did manage to sew the lining on, and as I was doing it, I was thinking this was a mistake to buy the cotton. This is what happens when you're rushed and you don't make the best decisions. And because I mean, Aiko really liked putting the fleece on and said that it was all nice and comfortable, but now the cotton's on and it's not as soft. So, but they said it was okay. I'm just gonna have to go forward. It's too late now. So here is the lining. You can see this is the back side of the lining and the back side of the fleece. I did like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I wasn't really trying to be perfect because, again, time crunch. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to clip where the points are, shave off a little bit right here. So when I turn it right side out, it won't pucker in these spots and it won't have a significant amount of fabric in here kind of bunching it up. Okay, you can see where I clipped off the bottom points and did the little cuts on the curves. So now I'm going to turn it right side out. While I was putting it right sides out, I found a little boo-boo. I didn't quite catch the ends of it, so the lining didn't get attached to the fleece, but that's a quick fix. I'm just gonna turn just this part inside out, sew it up, and then turn it right side out again. So no problem. All right, day 4. Yesterday was a complete bust. The only thing I managed to do was turn the poncho right side out, and I ironed it. So that's good, but then a whole bunch of stuff came up and it needed my attention, so that's all I got done yesterday. And today I literally have 2 hours to finish this thing, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Now it's October 30th, and so I have until tomorrow to finish it, but Aika was kind of hoping to wear it to an event tonight. Yeah, so I have to finish it in 2 hours, maybe 2.5. If I'm right at the last minute, walking out the door, but this whole journey has been so hard for me. As I told you before, I am not fast when it comes to projects. I like to take my time, and my perfectionist demon just whispers in my ear. It's like, you can do this better if you just slow down, but we don't have the time. But enough jibber jabbing. Let's get back to work. All right, so here's what I did this morning. I didn't film it, so hopefully it speaks for itself, but here's the finished ears. They're all ready to go. Aiko did make a comment that they like the texture that I decided to do on the black, so that's great. These are the structures for the ears. It's just 1/8 of an inch craft foam, and then I made a spiral base wire, and then the skeleton of the ear. So they'll be able to bend the ear in weird ways if they want to. So what I'm gonna do is, this goes over here. I'm gonna put some batting in it to fluff it up, and I'm gonna sew the base of the ear first to the hood, and then insert the structure into it, and then put the lining in. Again, running out of time, so let's get to that. I probably won't film it because setting up the camera is just going to take too much time, and making sure that you can see what I'm doing. I'll have to show you afterwards. All right, so I wrapped some polyfill around the wire structure, and this is so when I'm stuffing the ears, it doesn't shift around the wire, and I won't get any spots where the wire is going to be poking out through the fabric. I managed to put one ear in. You can see here it is. I sewed both the ears, made a hole, sewed them in, and then I put one ear in. It looks a little stiff right now because we haven't bent it. We're going to be making it crooked and cute. And you can see how I just glued it in. I know it's not pretty. You don't need to tell me it's not pretty. So not the prettiest job, but it's done. And then the lining, it's the same fabric, and it'll just cover this up, so you won't even see it. Aiko won't feel it, and it'll be great. So, time to put this one in now. And FYI, I only have an hour and a half left. That took me an hour. An hour! Just to make sure that this stays put, I glued along the edge of the fabric and then added another piece of the fleece. And hopefully that the fabric will stick together and it'll be much more secure. And it looks nicer, so the perfection demon is a little bit more happy. Okay, so have half an hour left. And I made a mistake. Like a big mistake. And I can't fix it. So you know how when I was talking about the hood and I was going to cut off an inch of the lining so that the face piece curls under and you don't have a seam on the edge of the hood? I cut the face instead of the lining. So now the lining is too big and the face part is too small. And there's no way to fix it. Even if I had time to fix it, which I don't, there's no possible way to fix it because I took off that fabric and I can't add it back on. It's tolerable. So we'll at least make it through tomorrow for Halloween. But Aiko wants to wear this at the conventions and it's just gonna bother me so much. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to make the hood all over again. Happy Halloween, everyone. Unfortunately, I think the cold made my pumpkin buddy lose all his green spots. So sad. But I love him anyway. So it is October 31st. You can see I'm wearing my Halloween shirt. It glows in the dark. It's so cool. All right, so yesterday was, I mean, it went okay. I managed to get the hood done for Aiko to wear to their event. I did not finish the tail, and Aiko reminded me that Mimikyu has eyeballs like halfway down their torso that I completely forgot. So that didn't get done either. Let me show you what is going on. Here's the hood. You can see my mistake. So the seam is supposed to be underneath the hood, not on top of it. There's no way for me to fix it. I could shorten the lining, but then this face is gonna be too short for what Aiko wants. And I could also just move this down, but I would have to cut off an inch from the lining because otherwise it's just gonna bunch up on the inside. But Aiko still enjoyed wearing it last night at their event, and that's all that's important. I'm probably gonna remake the hood because they want to wear this at conventions, and I'm just not happy with the seam. So I think I'll feel better if I remake it. And then also I want to extend the black part of the ears down to here. I think it'll look better. I just made it too short. It looked okay when it wasn't finished, but now that it's finished, it just kind of shortened, and I don't like that. So I'm just gonna extend it to here. But in the meantime, we need to finish this thing for tonight. I need to add the eye holes to the front. So I'm just gonna use the charcoal fleece, and then I have to finish the tail. So let's get started. cutting out the tail, I just used a reference picture normally, so I wouldn't risk wasting fabric if I made a mistake. I would cut out a paper pattern, but since I didn't have time, I just winged it. For the tail, I wanted it to be padded, so I took extra scraps of padding and sewed it to the 2 pieces of fleece, leaving an opening for me to turn it right side out. I pinned the tail together so it wouldn't shift around when I was sewing it, and just sewed a straight stitch for all of the wood details. The tail is done, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Pretty happy with it. I put 2 wood knots in it instead of the one I originally thought I was going to do, and yeah. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to attach it on each of the little corners. I won't be sewing the whole thing solid. We'll have to see how it drapes. But first I'm just gonna try just tacking method and maybe some more tacks along here so it doesn't buckle on the top. And so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pin it in place and then I'll do the hand tacking inside. Almost done. So the tail is now tacked on. I ended up putting it on Ico and letting the poncho drape naturally. Then I found the position on where to tack it. I left the bottom half free so it can just fall naturally and in between the little wrinkles and drapes of the poncho. And I think it looks pretty good. So the last part of this project is the eyeball slits. This is where the creature truly looks through, and all it is just 2 little elongated ovals, and that's it. I'm actually almost done with this. I can't believe it. I wanted to get it done in 2 days, but you know, life and mistakes and stuff, but so glad it's almost done, and I'm actually gonna have some time to relax a little bit before we go out trick-or-treating, and until I remake the hood. But I'm gonna save that for another day and just enjoy the end of this month and maybe a couple of weeks of November, because Nikki tired. So anyway, let's cut out the eyes and attach them. Pretty simple. I'm really not going to show this part